Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase podcast. Today we have with us Amanda Hornberger. Amanda is a copywriter. She helps her clients by writing copy that aligns with their mission and values. She also helps you come up with a marketing strategy that is ethical and effective. Her dream is to help people who are making the world a better place with their offerings be successful entrepreneurs. She does this with authentic, honest, genuine copywriting. She also plans to teach these skills, essentially creating the course she wishes she had when she was a new tarot reader and Reiki healer. Welcome to the show, Amanda. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us your story. How did you get from tarot reader, Reiki healer to copywriter?
Well, it was a bit of a winding journey, as you can probably imagine. Like a lot of people who's, I'm a performer by trade. So I went to college for musical theater and kind of ended up in the tarot reading, Reiki healing world through just, spiritual awakening, a bunch of stuff happening in my life that I didn't plan for, but kind of made me take a swift turn in a different direction. And during COVID times, I lost all of my work. I also lost my apartment. So it was a pretty wild time. And I ended up actually reading tarot at a famous haunted hotel in Florida. And that's how I survived through the pandemic. But I ended up reading. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but awesome.
Yeah.
It was a bright spot in a difficult time, but I ended up reading about over 200 people in a span of 6 months. And, the world was kind of crazy at the time. So a lot of people needed help and were bringing really heavy things to my office when they came and sat with me. So I got to the point where I had to just go, I'm pretty burnt out and I can't hold space for other people if I'm not doing very well mentally. So I took a step back. I spent a few years doing what I call real people jobs, working for other people. And I kind of kept ending up either helping friends or working for small businesses. And I was technically in admin roles, but I ended up helping a lot with their marketing and writing and adjusting their websites. So one day on Instagram ads, I got this ad for a course and I was like, why don't I try this copywriting thing? And as I started to do it, I was like, wow, like this is what I would have loved to have when I was setting up my tarot reading business and my Reiki healing. If I knew how to market myself then, I feel like things may have been a little bit different in how things turned out. So it kind of lit this fire under me. Like I can help other people who are doing really cool work amplify their messages. And I know a lot of the spiritual entrepreneurs, they're so creative and they're really passionate about what they do, but they have no idea where to start with their marketing. And, the internet is such a big place which offers a lot of opportunity, but it also can be very intimidating if you don't know where to start. So that's what I've been doing. Since last October officially, I started this business called Queen of Swords Copywriting, and it's been awesome. I've been meeting really awesome people doing really cool work in the world, and I say I get to be their cheerleader. I get to be the person from the outside who looks at their business and says, these are the things that you do really well and that make you special. Let's tell everyone else about it. So it's really fulfilling work.
Yeah, I can imagine. And copywriting is one of those things that, yes, you can learn the technical pieces of copywriting, but there's an art to it. And, everybody can learn to draw. There's fundamentals that if you learn the fundamentals, you can do it proficiently, but not excellently. And I think this kind of leads into a question about how does your past as a Reiki healer and tarot card reader influence what you're currently doing with copywriting? Because I can totally see the connection, but I'm going to let you share how you explain it to people that
Yeah.
maybe don't see the connection.
Well, it's interesting too, because like I said, the first thing I ever tried to do professionally was perform. And I still do that on some level. But the cool thing about copywriting, I essentially am doing a character study of someone's business. So that's where my like theater background comes in, is I put myself in the shoes of the customer and I imagine how are they perceiving this writing, or what impression are they getting at first of this person's business. And then as far as tarot and Reiki, developing those intuitive skills, I'm sure you probably understand in your own business, there is a practical side to that, but there's also an intuitive side to it. That kind of what you were hinting at can't super be taught. It's something you tap into, the energy of your audience or the energy of your business and where it's wanting to go. So I take the practical skills I've learned in copywriting and I kind of mix them with the intuitive skills I learned as a tarot reader and as a Reiki healer. And in fact, the name of my business is Queen of Swords Copywriting, from the Queen of Swords tarot card, because I want people to know right off from the get-go that that's the lens through which I'm viewing their businesses. And the Queen of Swords really represents honest communication. She's clear, direct, and straightforward. She also has really strong boundaries, which is something that as a business owner, I've had to learn, but I also think a lot of entrepreneurs need help with. So I want people to kind of get that energy of the Queen of Swords when they're working with me. And if that's something that resonates with them, they know that I'm the right fit to write for them. And as far as Reiki goes, that's just tapping into this universal energy. And I think when you're marketing, that's what you're trying to do. Like, what's the energy right now? What are people interested in? And not in an icky manipulative way, but more like just trying to give people what they need and what they're asking for, rather than trying to offer them things that aren't aligned or that they don't really need at this moment in time.
Yeah, it's the art of selling, which is really service versus what's in it for me as the entrepreneur versus what am I bringing that's going to help people solve their problems, live better, sleep better, enjoy life more. Those are the kinds of things that, as an entrepreneur, not necessarily as a spiritual coach or practitioner, entrepreneurs are more about providing solutions to problems. Coaches are about that too, but they just don't realize that that's all they need to do. It's just provide the solution and tell the people what solution it is that they're trying to provide. because often they don't really know how to articulate it themselves, which is another reason why you really do need a copywriter who can look at it from the outside and put themselves in the shoes of the person reading the email. I loved that when you said that you embody that customer when you're writing, so that you can see how they're feeling and how they're taking the information in, which is that's a great tip for anybody that's writing their own emails
Yeah.
to think about.
Because it's so easy to think about, you know yourself and what you're offering. Of course, you know the value of what you do. You know the positive feedback you've gotten from previous customers. But how do you communicate that to someone who doesn't know anything about you in a way that feels honest and makes you trustworthy, rather than just one more person who's trying to sell something?
And
And
relatable.
exactly. Yeah. And it's so easy to get caught up in, well, here's my credentials. Here's what I offer. Here's why you need it. And it's like, well, no one really likes to be told there's something wrong with them and they need this thing because
Because they suck.
yeah. Yeah. You, especially as spiritual entrepreneurs, I feel like we're moving into a phase of marketing where it's more about empowering the individual who's reading what you're writing. And I'm fine with a little bit of calling people out on their BS. That's fine. But you have to do it in a way that they are able to receive.
Mhm.
And that's something I think I learned from tarot reading too, is you can tell people the truthiest truth, but if they're not ready to receive it, or you're not communicating it in a way that they're able to receive, then everything you're saying falls flat. And that's the same with marketing.
It's the difference between sales marketing and attraction marketing. Sales marketing is standing out there with your sign saying, buy my crap, buy my crap, buy my crap. Hey, did you see I got crap? You can buy it. As I'm pointing at my sign. Attraction marketing is out there saying, hey, here's a sample. Give it a taste. Do you like it? Does it taste good? That's what they do in Costco when
Yeah.
it's attraction marketing. We're giving you a sample. See how we solved this problem for you? You wanted this flavor combination? Here, try it. Um, you can do that on social media, and you can do that with copywriting, but it's about saying, here, let me solve a small portion of your problem. And, maybe that's all you need is just the small solution that I'm providing for you right now. But
Yeah.
I'll provide you a bunch of these different smorgasbord of different things that I can help you with. And then when you're ready for the big thing that I really do help people with on a much deeper level, come see me.
Yeah.
Because you've had some experience with me. And they'll remember that. And when it comes time, they'll come around and see you.
It's
It's
an
a much,
invitation, not a
yes,
demand. Mm-hmm.
yes. It's changing. The world is changing. Everything's always changing, but we're
Yeah.
moving into a time where it's less about the shiny objects and hopping all over the place, and more about getting intentional about what you're doing. And I think you, as a copywriter, and with your unique skill set that you bring to copywriting, I've talked to a lot of copywriters in my life, and I've taken a lot of copywriting courses in my life, but it's different to have this unique skill set that you're bringing. I think it's kind of exciting and
Yeah.
interesting, and it does make you unique in a marketplace that you can hire people on Fiverr or Upworks or wherever to write your stuff, but they're not going to get it's not even just like the personal. It's like you bring an embodiment of who they are. You kind of take on their business and put yourself in those shoes so that you can share the message in a way that can be received in the way that they want their message to be received.
Yeah. And I, I really feel like in my own business, I feel like I can't recommend to people things that haven't worked for me. And so if I'm going to tell someone to lean into what makes them unique and special, then that has to be my own branding and my own way I'm running my business too. And so, you'd be surprised how many people are like, I clicked on your discovery call booking because I saw the Queen of Swords and I was intrigued by that, or I resonate with it because of this. And I'm like, I just decided I got so tired of having to stuff myself down in a box to work for other people. If
Mhm.
I'm going to do my own business, then I'm going to do it on my terms the way I want. And if that means not everybody is for me, great. Like, I wish all of them well. I'm looking for the people who really do resonate with my offerings and need exactly what I'm offering. So it's been really freeing to be able to say no when I want to, and to be
Mhm.
able to say like a really excited yes when I want to. And I feel like that's what I want for everybody that I write for as well.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And, there are people that look at tarot and Reiki healing and all the other spiritual arts and think you guys are good for cookie puffs. And, that's totally fine. They're
Yeah.
free to go and figure out how they want to run their business in their own way. And I bless them and wish them well. In in the communities that I think you and I like to run in, I like all about embracing the woo and letting the energy come and living in a little bit more elevated state of everybody has something unique and special to offer the world. And all we want to do is shine the light on it and say, hey, look at this cool thing that's going on over here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what your whole podcast is like highlighting people who are doing really awesome stuff. And
Mhm.
it's so specific to those individuals, which is awesome. It's what we should be doing, exactly what we're being called to do inside of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. And personally, I get to meet so many cool and interesting people. It's just like
Yeah.
bonus for me. And
Yeah, that's
I get to share
awesome.
it with everybody else.
I love it. I love it.
I love it too. So, Amanda, how do people work with you? How how does that look?
The easiest thing to do is to head over to my website, and
Mhm.
there'll be a button that says book a consultation.
Mhm.
You can click and make a time with me for a discovery call. But I definitely recommend, if you're not looking for a copywriter, just peek at my website. I put a new blog post up every month, and that's basically just tips and tricks for spiritual entrepreneurs, usually from the lens of marketing or copywriting. I have some blogs that are more about like networking and how you connect with other businesses and other people. I have a blog on ethical marketing, so that's a great place to start if you're like, marketing is icky and gross and I hate it. Maybe it doesn't have to be icky and gross. So I do have those free resources as well. And I'm in the process of building a course. Like you said in my intro, I'm realizing I've learned a lot of skills that I wish a previous version of me had. And it makes me realize there's probably a previous version of me out there somewhere who could benefit from it. So that's hopefully going to launch beginning of October is my goal. And that will all be on my website as well. So that's www.queenofswordscopy.com. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it so much. I really like the Queen of Swords thing. It's like I I got confused a little bit when I first looked at it, and I think I asked you this the last time we chatted, but there are card readers who use the regular deck, and my son, one of my sons, is blind in one eye, and our last name is Hart, and it's his left eye, and the Jack of Hearts is the suicide Jack, so it's just the one-eyed Jack,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he so identifies with that card.
Aw.
that when I saw the Queen of Swords, it was just like, I got the swords and and the jack confused because he's holding a sword. Um, eh, that's why
Well,
I made that comment
I think
earlier on.
actually the heart suit would correspond to the cup suit in the tarot. So that
Yeah,
would
I
be
think
like
it
the Queen
does.
of Cups or the Jack of Cups probably, but
Yeah, but it was just it was the sword image that
yeah.
trans got confused in my head. Let's just put it that way.
All
I
good.
just put them all together and I come up with my own little world.
It's probably a great place to be. I'll join.
It's fun. It's fun. We have the best time, me and my friends, that nobody else sees. So, um, what do you think you wish more spiritual entrepreneurs knew about marketing? Let me ask you that.
Yeah, I feel like what I wish people knew, it's kind of like on two ends of a spectrum. I feel like there's one group of spiritual entrepreneurs who think they don't have to do any marketing at all because they're just going to manifest their clients. And to me, you have to take practical steps in order to manifest. So we got to get that marketing strategy in place so that then you can attract.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's the other end of the spectrum that's like, I know I have to market, but I hate marketing and it doesn't feel like it's in alignment with my mission. And so I just wish I could say to both groups that you get to make your marketing plan align with your values. You get to make it so that it feels good to you. Like you can actually have fun marketing and feel like you're offering real value to your audience, and that feels good. You're giving them something genuinely. You're being generous, and then in return, you're getting something back. And that exchange can be really powerful. So, yeah, I feel like that's what I wish people knew, because a lot of times I have part of the reason for this course too is I have people on discovery calls who just are so uncomfortable with marketing. And I think trying to see it as something fun that you can create a vision board and with your mission and your values and who your audience is and what you're doing for them, and like bring that all together with marketing. So it can be almost a tool to create magic. And we don't think of it that way.
That we should.
Yeah.
It, over the years, and I've been at this for close to 40, I would look at a piece of paper and it would be like, or a blank internet email screen and think, oh my God, what am I going to say to these people? And initially, I think that the tendency is to think, oh, I've got to sell them something instead of just writing a letter to your friends. Most of my emails, and I'm a prolific email writer. You're on
Oh
my
yeah.
list. I'm writing people all the time. And a lot of times it's just like, hey, I got this going on. Or, hey, I just figured this out. Or, I learned something new today. I want to let you know.
Yeah.
You can learn about it too. I like the last email I sent out, and this is going to be a long time ago when this episode actually airs, but it was about discovering how to leave an Apple podcast review because they changed it. I had gone
Yeah.
to all this trouble to record how to do this because it's not intuitive. It wasn't intuitive before. Now it's even more not
Oh,
intuitive.
great.
I'm looking all over the website to figure out how to leave a review because Apple reviews are really important if you're a podcaster.
Yeah.
So I'm a friend of mine. Her name is Diane Wisga. I interviewed her on this podcast too, but she was like, "Can you leave a review on my website? I left her, or on my podcast, I left a review on yours." I'm like, "You figured out how to do that?" She's like, "Yes." She had to spend hours on the phone with Apple, and she
Yeah.
finally found somebody that told her, "Well, you have to have the iTunes app." And we're both like, facepalm. But I mean, it was such a simple thing, and we both already had the iTunes app on our computers. But before, you just went to the episode and it popped up and it asked you if you wanted the iTunes app to open. Now they don't ask you. They
They're
just
making
assume you
it
know.
harder.
It was just like, oh, this is so genius. But my point was that you can just write about fun things that are happening in your life. You don't
Yeah.
have to be selling every single thing. People
Yeah.
are interested. They do want to know what's going on in your life. They're on your list.
Yeah. And if they don't want to be, they'll click unsubscribe. But it is,
And
yeah.
don't feel bad about that.
Exactly. And it's kind of like they say words are spells, and not meaning that in a negative, but more like in the manifestation sense of like, if you're there to help your audience and there's something you're dreaming of for them, that's what these words you're writing are helping bring into being. This is what you're helping them to do. And so in that sense, it's like, you should be writing, you should be telling them what you're up to, like as long as your offerings are in alignment and as long as your intentions are pure and you've done your due diligence on your end, then people should be buying from you. So much better to be buying from you than from someone who's lying to them or somebody whose product isn't going to help them.
Mm-hmm. And you haven't gotten to know. And again, having somebody who's aligned with what your business is doing, writing at least the initial emails, because there's different places emails actually fit into a marketing plan. It's not just like the everyday emails that you send out to your list or your community. It's when you make offers, you have to have a sequence behind them, because you can't respond to every single person. And if you have it set up in a way that it just automatically sends out, then you're incorporating automation into your process so that it frees you up to do other things.
Exactly.
And having those professionally written, it's golden. It's really the difference between
sequence. Oh yeah, like a good welcome sequence where someone new can get to know you, know what you offer, and now they're like primed for whatever you're going to do next. People do not always take advantage of that. Like the moment someone clicks subscribe and sends you their email is the moment they're the most interested in you. So if you don't follow up with them and make them feel like you care about them and you want to bring them along for the ride, you can kind of miss opportunities there. And I've seen that a lot for sure.
Yeah. And it's the time when they're most interested in finding out more about you and what you have to offer. They're trying to decide, do I need to re-enter these or to keep opening these emails or not? Are they just going to be like, nah? Or is there some reason why I'm going to want to read the next one, which is another reason why you need to have somebody professionally write your emails, because they remind you you're going to want to work the next one. They can set it up so that they lead the old serials. This is way before your time, I'm sure, but the movies on Saturdays when you would go, there were cartoons and they would have these serials. There was a story and they always had a cliffhanger. So you wanted to come back next week because some of us didn't have TV when we were growing up. And so we would want to go back to the movies next week to find out what happens.
Yeah.
So how do you market and network effectively and ethically, or authentically and effectively?
Yeah. So the networking piece is something I'm very passionate about because I feel like we've all felt what it's like for someone to network with us like completely disingenuously. And we're all so inundated with that we're over it. So the days of like just connecting with a bunch of people on LinkedIn and then sending the same mass DM message that doesn't even have their name on it, you know nothing about their business. Like I've had this recently with people networking with me who then you get on the call and they don't know anything about about your business, and they're trying to pitch you on something, but you're like, wait, but you asked me. You asked me for my time as if you were interested in my business, and now you're just pitching me something that I didn't even ask for. And so it's this synergy you can have where you're genuinely looking to connect with people who can, there's mutual benefit. And in fact, you're looking the same way that you would maybe court an audience member or a customer, those collaborations too. I'm going to offer you way more value up front than what I'm ever asking you for.
Mhm.
And so, and I just think that's a mindset shift that a lot of people need, that you're asking me for something before I even trust you. So we have to build a connection and a relationship first. And you know what? You could pour into those relationships and never get anything out of it other than you met someone really awesome. And like letting that be okay. That's been in my experience with my business. I mean, I get off a call, a networking call, and I'm talking to my partner about, that was the coolest person. I just think this person's great. Oh, are you going to work together? I have no idea, but they're awesome, you know? And I feel like more businesses need to look at it that way and play the long game with their networking connections rather than trying to make an immediate benefit for themselves when that person doesn't really owe you anything. I hope that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And I couldn't agree with you more. Almost never when I do those networking things am I doing business with that person right away. But that person, especially if you take the time to really understand what it is they are doing, and
Yep.
don't get on discovery calls to just like network. If you're going to network with somebody, tell them, hey, this is a coffee call and we're going to network.
Yeah.
And really spend the time, get to know what it is they're doing and how they're doing it, because you never know down the line where that is going to lead, or what connections you're going to make, or what connection they have that they're going to help you make
Yeah.
totally out of the blue.
I just had it recently. I have a lovely client who needed help with Facebook ads, and I create ads, but
Mhm,
I'm not the one who runs it, and I wouldn't tell you that I know everything about running Facebook ads. There's somebody
mhm.
else who's an expert in that, who's going to know that so much better than me. And so being able to tap into my network and find someone who that is what they do and
Mhm.
connect those people together, even if I don't get paid for that connection, I'm offering value to my clients through the network I've built. And I'm
Yep.
helping someone else succeed at what they're doing. And who knows, maybe someday they'll think of me. But if they never do, I didn't do it for that reason. You know, it's we all can build each other up and offer value to each other. There's enough room for everyone. And
Yes.
that mindset has really, it's honestly been so inspiring to, because we're not really taught that business works that way. Um, and so I love the idea that I can work in business the way that feels good for me. And
Mhm.
I have found so many other like-minded people, and that's been so refreshing after having, you know, a bunch of soul-sucking jobs in a row and just feeling like, oh, well, you have to mistreat people to be successful. And
You
you
don't.
don't.
You really don't. And the more that you can just help people and provide information and genuinely care about what they're doing, the better off the whole world will be. And
Mhm.
we can truly appreciate for others without being jealous about other people's success.
Yeah.
And in doing so, it just makes the symphony so much richer and
Yeah.
better.
I love how you said that. Absolutely.
That's just how I feel about life right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all playing a different instrument and we can all play in harmony if we choose. Yep.
Yes. Yes. And it just like it's all frequency and vibration anyway. So you may as well like make your instrument make the best sound, contribute to the overall piece that's being played.
Yeah.
So that's in harmony instead of discord.
Yeah. And, even in a giant symphony orchestra, sometimes your music has rests in it, which means sometimes your voice isn't the one that's needed. And that's totally fine too. I think that's that ebb and flow is something that I'm very inspired by a lot of, particularly female entrepreneurs, just that knowledge that there are these quiet times in your business and then there are the loud ones, and just riding the wave of that and not having it mean anything negative when things are quiet,
Mhm,
and not having it blow up your ego when things are loud.
mhm.
um that's what's been really awesome about being a part of this like spiritual entrepreneurship community, is the people who are like in alignment and doing the thing with integrity. They're so inspiring. And so it's an honor to write for people who I feel that way about.
And as women, we have a natural cycle. It's
Mhm.
28 days long. We're not, and it moves. And there are periods where we need to rest. We need to withdraw. There are periods when we're most productive. It's not every day for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Those are based on men's cycles. Men have a 12-hour cycle, and they can do the same thing, eat the same thing every single day. They they love it. But for women, it just we can do it, but it really, I think, wreaks havoc on our health in the long term. And it just doesn't feel right. Something always feels off. You talk about having those, would you call them real jobs or normal jobs or
Real people jobs.
real people jobs? I knew there was something in there. Real and people. Okay, real people jobs. That just like it really sucks your soul out because you're not living in harmony with the energy that you are naturally and allowing it to like flow in a way that you can you can feel at peace. So you're not trying, I have to get up at a certain time and I have to do these things. And it's not that you don't have things that you have to accomplish, but if you can allow yourself to move at the rhythm and at the pace that that day calls for, you're going to feel so much better. And
Yeah.
again, going back to hiring somebody who can help you in areas where you're not really that confident, it's easier and it really shortens the learning curve for you because people that hire you also learn from you. They can take the work that you create for them and find their own voice because you're kind of channeling their voice in a way
Yeah.
so that they can they can they can learn to do it for themselves if they want to at some point. And if
Yeah.
they just want to hire you to do it all, that's fine too.
Exactly. And that's why I always say my initial discovery calls, it's free. And if you just sit with me and I give you some nuggets of information and you take that and you never book with me, good. Like I'm genuinely there trying to set you up on the right track. And, you know, if if all you need is just a little boost or a couple nuggets that of something you didn't think about before, that's what I have those for, because I do believe in the value of sharing, and that idea that I said before, there's room for everyone.
Mhm.
And if someone's not the right fit to work with me, it doesn't mean anything about me. But I still wish that for their success. And if there's anything they can take away from meeting with me for, 20 minutes, great, and I think a lot of things would shift in the world if that mindset was more prevalent. This idea that, yeah, of course, I need to be paid for my services. It's not to say I'm giving everything away for free all the time, but But if I'm going to expect someone to trust me with the voice of their business, they better be able to get to know me and trust that I'm going to handle that with care. And,
Yes.
and, I just think that a lot of people, they just want to keep everything so close. Like, this way, no one can take it from me. And I've had clients already potential clients who got on a discovery call with me, took as much as they could, and then just used everything I said, but never booked with me. And you're like, fine, that's okay. It doesn't take anything from me. I'm still me. I still have the knowledge I have and the network I have. And, if that's what you needed, go for it. I just think that there's room for all of us.
I couldn't agree more. So, Amanda, thank you so much for joining me today. What's the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from this conversation?
I think the thing I hope, I'm going to speak like directly to the person who is maybe fairly new to this. They're trying to jump into this spiritual entrepreneurship world. It might feel big and vast and like there's so many voices, and is there room for yours? And I hope what you take away from this conversation is that you have your own unique energy signature that someone out there, probably a lot of someone's out there, needs. And so if you feel the call to this type of work, there's a reason. And lean into your own energy and what makes you special and unique and what's authentic to you. And you're going to find those people and make the world a better place.
For sure. For sure. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.